Hey everyone, this is my reaction to the 21st episode of the 3rd season of Shingeki no Kyojin, or Attack on Titan. Now, obviously last episode was pretty eventful. It threw a lot of information at me, which was a lot to take in. I couldn't really digest all of it in that span of time, but having a week between now and then, I feel like I understand most of what I was supposed to understand by that point, so it's all good. However, I did get a lot of comments on the previous video, so I want to bring up some things as a result. Okay, now let's see. What do I want to get into first? Well, the lore about Ymir and how when she died, split into like 9 titans, and then they formed the Eldian Empire. Now, for some reason, it did not register with me at all. Just did not make the connection that those were the Titan shifters, and so I ended up asking a really stupid question. Or in my last video, I said something like, "Gee, I wonder how many Titan shifters there are, or if there's a limit to them," which in retrospect was a really stupid thing to say because obviously there's 9. And then what they do is when one dies is that the next one, that's why they keep the Eldians around, right? So they can just have new vessels, which is another thing that didn't quite click with me in the video when I watched it the first time. But that's obviously why they keep them around. They enlist them and all that sort of thing. And I don't think I directly said it or not, but I think I made some sort of offhanded comment about how anyone that's injected with that becomes a Titan, that stuff becomes a Titan. But I don't think that's true. And I kind of knew it wasn't true as I said it, so I don't know why I said it. But I think it's only the Eldians that you can actually do that with because they have the Titan heritage with Ymir and all that. So that's obviously why they keep them around. Another thing I wanted to mention was the Zeke thing. The child, I heard the name in the episode. I thought to myself, gee, that name sounds familiar. And then I just didn't know why, because I always refer to the Beast Titan as the Beast Titan, so the reveal of him being Eren's half-brother was a little bit not as great because of that. But I'm sure I'm not alone in that. But anyway, also Titans. When we actually got to the wall and they started to inject people and threw them off, which is obviously very similar to what happened to Ymir back in her flashback. You know, there's a lot of Titans there that look familiar that we've seen throughout the show. I only mentioned one of them, and that wasn't because that was literally the only one that looked familiar to me. It was because that one especially looked familiar to me because one of the people in the meetings had that same exact face. And during that scene, I don't think there's anything out loud. It was like, yeah, that looks like a certain Titan face I remember. And then we saw it later on at the wall. It's like, yep, yeah, that was totally that guy. But although I wasn't sure what Titan we saw at one point in the series, I did realize that a lot of those Titans were familiar. Like, they looked familiar enough. I just couldn't tell you, yeah, that was one that ate that character. I couldn't do that, but I think it doesn't really, I guess not that big of a deal to be able to narrow it down that much, but you definitely impress people if you did know each individual one, right? But I think that was pretty much everything I wanted to. Oh, no, the Smiling Titan. That was one more thing I wanted to mention. Now, I know I did not have much of a reaction to the Smiling Titan reveal, and that's mostly because I had been spoiled on the identity of the Smiling Titan quite a while ago, like several months ago, probably during season 2. So, the spoilers is something about the female Titan being like a relative of their family or whatever. So once she got down on the wall and they were about to give her an injection, I was like, oh yeah, okay, I guess that's the person they were talking about because that's a female and all that. But I wonder if there will be any significance going forward, the fact that Zeke does have that royal blood. That's one thing that's certainly interesting to me. But okay, I think that was most of what I wanted to bring up. There's probably a couple things I don't quite remember, but this show's already been way too long, so most of the smart people have probably already skipped it. But anyway, let's just get into it regardless. 3, 2, 1, play. And of course, what we ended off on was our reveal of the owl being the owl Titan shifter, being a Titan shifter. Yeah, pretty brutal. So let's see how Grisha ends up getting this Titan power, because that will be interesting to see. You can if you want to. I have a basic understanding of it. That much I knew. But thank you for reminding me, I guess. But yeah, well, after last episode, a lot of things throughout the entire show make a lot more sense. You know, Reiner and Berthold talking about being child soldiers and all that. That makes more sense when you think about how what their family circumstances probably were, just giving up the children to the Marley governments for benefits, and then these kids just thrown out into a war they don't even care about. Really, I mean, against their own people, really. So it's really gotta suck. It also explains why they weren't really, you know, it never really felt like they really wanted to do what they were doing. And that especially makes sense if they are the same people and they were kind of forced into this a little bit. That makes sense. There's a lot of little things like that make sense. And I'm sure I would notice a lot more if I rewatched the series from this point. Which I probably will at some point. Just do a complete rewatch with this new perspective that we have. Okay. Attack. Well, Shingeki no Kyojin. I don't know why it just says Attack Titan instead of Attack on Titan, because I'm pretty sure that says Shingeki no Kyojin. I'm not 100% sure. So, what kind of talk are we gonna have here? Oh, Aaron, wow. That's where I got the name from. Well, I guess if you have connections, you can fake that. People do that all the time. So, where do we go from here is what I'm wondering. Well, because that's how the owl wanted it to go. I also want this answer, so, I really don't like that. Any kind of finger bleeding like that just... I am also curious why you didn't move sooner if you were going to. Yeah, you know some of those times you're gonna kill people we care about, right? So, why make your move now? But yeah, that was a rough position he's been in for so long. So it does seem like he's gonna pretty willingly give him the Titan power. Which I figured, I mean, I didn't think there's any way he could forcibly take it. Gotta build up that hatred. Because he hates Marley enough. Those were some pretty intense eyes. Yeah, it's how it always goes. Unfortunately. And that would definitely get to you after a while. Wow. Even though he can become a Titan, still feels so powerless. Well, yeah, we kind of already knew that. I want you to eat me. And then Eren will eat him. 13 years? Wow. That's got a cursive Ymir. I suppose that makes sense. But I'm glad we now know that. Because, I mean, yeah, they tell us this after most of our characters we care about becoming powered titans. Well, it's a bit of an exaggeration, but you know what I mean. Yeah, what happens then? So just a random baby? But yeah, this the same blood. A single coordinates. Yes. Coordinates just another name for the founding titan, I guess. True enough. Unfortunately. Which means Zeke does. I guess not. Yeah, I don't think any normal human could possibly get to the walls from here in one piece. Oh, I remember that was a good moment. 6 out of 10. Everyone's a critic. The only downside of, flashbacks like this is that we know the end result, that he's going to eventually agree to it and get the power and head on over to the city. So not a lot of suspense. But that's just the nature of flashbacks. Wow. I wouldn't put it past them. I suppose it is. Yeah, you would have led a very different life if you had not left that day. And there's no changing that, so... It's a good point. If you feel like you've sinned and all that, then do your best going forward. The story's not over yet. But you gotta remember, the story was about to end, but he was saved. And it's really beautiful sky back there, just gorgeous. What's the name of your Titan? Wings of Freedom. Wow, title drop. I got chills from that. Oh, wow. I should have seen that coming. I didn't. That was great. Shingeki no Kyojin. I can't even really focus anymore. I just that may have been one of my favorite reveals in the entire show. Just wow. Anyway, I'm gonna try focusing on the episode again. Yeah, that would be some bad PR. You okay? You don't look so great. Yeah, it's everything okay? Well, I guess she's the only non-Titan out of the three main characters. Maybe that's related to it. I don't know. Hopefully everything's okay. Oh right, the letter from Ymir. I think this is to make sure that you're not writing anything bad. And he did. Yeah, I wouldn't have imagined that either. That would be a pretty big regret, yeah. It's kind of funny because Reiner wanted the same thing and he's right there. Yeah, I remember that stuff. Oh yeah, we kind of saw that visual then, the sky and all that. So that basically led her to the founding Titan, that's how she found the walls. I didn't get any kind of secret message. Yeah, she's pretty straightforward. Yeah. I, I wish things had went differently with Ymir. That's awkward. To think they used to be, cadets all together not too long ago. How things have changed. Yes. Yeah, you would never guess that our Armin is a Titan now. Enjoying your food there, Sasha? Some pretty valuable stuff. Oh yeah, and they were definitely some real efforts, honestly. There's a lot of effort put into that. Okay, how well is that gonna go? Very, very true. But we got something out of it. But that's not the case. An unknown civilization that doesn't want to leave us alone. Yes, so the world's out to get us, basically. They're just jealous because we can become cool titans and they can't. Yeah, we don't want them to get the founding titan, not at all. We already kind of knew the king of the titans was very passive. Like, we knew that from before. Yeah, we heard something about that before. Was that true? Well, obviously. A pretty big deterrent. And he did that, so it ultimately gave it to Eren. Yes, so they probably want to give Zeke the coordinator power. Yeah, he was able to use it a little bit, so that's something. Yeah, that was pretty. That was a pretty awesome scene there. Well, I assume because the person you were, yeah, she had the royal blood, so you were touching her. I'm sure that has something to do with it. But I'm pretty sure you killed the Smiling Titan in that same scene. I'm fairly certain. I thought I was certain until now. Now I'm not so sure anymore. Yeah, I think he had all the other Titans eat her, I think. Yeah. But anyway, yeah, her royal blood's probably why it worked then. Not sure how it's gonna help us. Phase. That's always been his character. I'm gonna slay all the Titans, and that goal's probably changed a little bit upon learning new things about the world. Yeah, was your dad's ex-wife. Possibly. Yeah, that's the thing. Well, I love someone, anyone. Uh, well, how do you, what? But they shouldn't be born yet, right? Okay, that was interesting. It gave me chills again. What was that about? Was he seeing was he seeing into the future, or okay, I'm very confused. I know he had the name Aaron, which is probably where Grisha got the name to name his son, but I don't get the army and Mikasa thing at all. Unless I don't know, that was weird. That really caught me off guard when he started saying their names. But yeah, okay. That was the 58th episode, or no, 21st episode of third season of Attack on Titan. The numbering's confusing because the season 3 part 2 and anyway, the episode. There was a lot of talking to start the episode off between Grisha and Eren, basically talking about his life, and how it's gone, and the position he's been in for a while, where he wanted to help his people, and to do so had to hurt his people, and that's got to put a lot of mental strain on him, for sure. But it was obviously useful to have an inside man like that. But yeah, it was just a horrible situation he was in, and that got put to an end because he was gonna give Grisha the injection, and he would eat him, become a Titan, run on over to the walls and say, "Hey, let me in, guys! I'm totally one of you. I just got locked outside somehow. I left my keys in my other pants, so someone open the gate and let me in." That was the strategy, and he couldn't do that unless he was a Titan. He was also given instructions to find a nice lady and start a family because that would make things better. I don't think I fully understood that, but it did allow him to have a child, which he could then pass on his dream to. One that actually will, work towards his dream and not, like, betray him immediately and turn him into the police. So, Eren, the good child, not Zeke, the bad one, of course. Although you could say Grisha did kind of make the same mistake twice in regards to pushing his dream onto his child, but it did seem to work out a bit better that time. Circumstances were obviously quite different, so that could have contributed to that, of course. But definitely, without question, my favorite thing about the episode was the reveal of that Titan's name. Like, all the Titan ships have specific names. Like, we have the Colossal Titan, the Armored Titan, the Female Titan, the Beast Titan. I don't know if Ymir's one had a name. Did it? The Midget Titan? I don't know. I don't think that one actually had a name. But who knows? The point is, Eren's Titan was Shingeki no Kyojin, Attack on Titan, or it was just called Attack Titan here. which I guess because it would just sound weird to call it Attack on Titan. But the point is, it's the name of the anime, Shingeki no Kyojin. That is what Eren Yeager is. He is Shingeki no Kyojin. That is just, I don't know. I thought that was really cool. Just I've watched this show since like it first came out, so even though my enthusiasm for the show kind of waned between season 1 and season 2 because it was just such a large gap, it still holds a pretty important place in my heart because of the fond memories I have of season 1 and how much it blew me away back in my early days of anime watching. Not exactly sure when season 1 aired. I can check that real quick. 2013, yeah, so that was, well, it wasn't super early in my anime watching, but it was early-ish, like, you know. Anyway, let's kind of get onto a tangent. The point is, the reveal really struck a chord with me to finally have a real, concrete reason behind that name, because I always just thought it was Attack on Titan. I mean, I always knew it was kind of like a badly translated name or whatever, but the point is, we finally have a reason for it beyond what I thought it was, which was just, hey, Titan's banging on the door, the Titans are attacking us, Attack on Titan, like, sure. I know, obviously, it sounds a little bit weird, but that's just because it was an awkwardly translated thing, which I always knew. I'd always heard people say that it was weirdly translated, and they just refused to budge on that for whatever reason. But makes a bit more sense, I guess, because yeah, you know, Attack of Titan or whatever you would want to. I don't know. That would just sound weird if it was the name of a Titan. The point is, the reveal was cool. Getting to know the true meaning behind the name was cool, and that was my favorite thing about the episode, personally. Like, I legit could have had trouble focusing on the episode after that. I kind of, if I wasn't doing a reaction, I would just pause it right there to leave to really just soak that in for a couple minutes. But, you know, the show must go on, so I had to just keep watching. So hopefully I didn't miss anything too important there through all the chills I was getting. But another big thing with the episode was we got a expiration date for Titan Shifters. I mentioned in my overly long intro that when the Titan Shifters died, before they would die, they would get eaten by a new Titan to restart the cycle. But that always got the question of how long do these Titan Shifters live? I just assumed it was a normal lifespan for the most part. But we were told it was 13 years. That is not a lot. Not a lot at all. So, yeah, that's pretty depressing considering the characters we care about are Titan Shifters. But, you know, way back in the day, I had this idea in my head that Titan Shifters, like, lived a very long time or, like, were borderline immortal because that whole Ymir wandering outside the walls for 50 years thing. But I guess that only applies to full-on Titans, the long lifespan thing. But I guess it didn't apply to Titan Shifters, which I kind of already figured that from last episode, but I didn't know how short their life would be. And now we have our answer. 13 years, just... Yeah, I mean, and some of that's already gone by for Eren. Obviously for Armin it's not too bad because he just became a Titan, so he's got a full 13 years ahead of him, even though that's really not a lot, even if you have the full amount. But Eren, he's got like, he's used up at least like, what, 4 or 5 years of it? I'm not exactly sure. Yeah, I'm not exactly sure, but he's used a decent amount of it. Ymir probably even more so. I don't know. But the point is, yeah, that's a really harsh reality to learn that. After learning that, I would be a little bit more hesitant to want to become a Titan Shifter, personally. But apparently, I think they said that if a Titan dies without passing on the power, it just goes to a random subject of Ymir, right? Like, I don't think they said there's any logic to it beyond just the subject of Ymir. But yeah, they also confirmed, I mean, we kind of already knew that too, but really confirmed that the Coordinator is just another name for the Founder Titan, because all the Titans are kind of attached by a string to the Founding Titan, and the Founding Titan can control them. That's why he was able to make that threat about millions of Titans crushing the world if you dare mess with us thing. Which, that threat worked for a while, but I guess not forever, because they came knocking on their door eventually. But yeah, the Eldians don't seem to be a big fan of how the king did things, being very passive, not looking out for his people properly. Luckily, we have a new ruler now in Historia, but Historia doesn't have the Founding Titan power Eren does. And we already know that the Founding Titan power does not, you can't use it to its fullest extent unless you are of royal blood. But that also means you're not, people like Eren, he's not bound to the will of the Founding Titan, because that always was also passed on each time, I think. That's why every new Founding Titan inheritor would just kind of have the same sort of philosophy, like nothing would change. Like, you may have an idea of something you want to do with a power, but that would change once you got it. You had to have a different look in your eye and all that. I think we got to that, talked about that stuff with Kenny. I don't remember the exact details, but it was something like that. But Eren was able to use a degree of the coordinated power when he punched the Smiling Titan's hand, because they had that royal blood contact. Now, they brought that up in this episode. Eren, I don't think he really has explained any of this stuff that he now knows to everyone else. I don't know how he's going to play that. He just had a bit of an outburst, which I think it was Hanji that kind of, mediated that. It's like, oh, he's just going through a phase. He just randomly outbursts. That's just what he does. And that's true. After a lot of the show, he's just randomly yelled out, I'm gonna kill all the Titans, I'm gonna murder, slaughter them all. I'm such a cool edgelord, That was always kind of his character for a while, but he's changed a little bit since then. Which is good. Character development's always a good thing. He's a little bit more reasonable now. It probably helps that he's learned so much about Titans and their history, and now has a best friend that's a Titan, and he's a Titan himself. So a lot has changed since the days of a Titan, my mother's no, I hate all Titans. Hashtag kill all Titans, and all that sort of thing. We've moved past that largely, which is, of course, a good thing. And she read the message from Ymir, which is good. Reiner was more than happy to deliver it to make up for, to repair or whatever. So it was a nice letter. Nothing really much to say about it, I guess. No really big revelations through that. But it was nice that she got it. I do kind of wish Ymir didn't have to leave, and she could have just been part of the cast and helped us fight against the enemy and all that. Back when they took Ymir in season 2 or whatever, I really undervalued the importance of Titan shifters, because I just kind of had this idea in my head that, hey, this other civilization that these guys are a part of and are fighting for, that are our enemy, they probably got a whole buttload of Titan shifters. It's probably like the norm there or something. And now that I know that there's like only 9, Ymir, yeah, getting Ymir was a big deal. Like, they definitely would have considered that a big deal. So, yeah, she would have been pretty valuable. I kind of wish I knew how just how valuable Titan shifters were back then, since I could have had a better idea of that. But I guess it doesn't matter that much. But it's interesting. I remember back in that time as well, when they were in the tree and all that, and I wanted more answers than we actually got in that scene. And most of the answers I wanted back then, I mean, we've kind of already gotten them, so pretty good place to be in as an Attack on Titan fan now. We just know so much. There's probably more we don't know, of course, but I'd say we know a lot. I'm not going to give it a percentage, because somebody will go in the comments and say, haha, you think that's how much you know? You don't know anything, Jon Snow. And I know that would happen if I try to give a percent, so I'm not going to. I'm just going to say we know a lot now. But, let's see. Is there anything else more to say on the episode? Yeah, not really. I mean, Grisha got the injection, ate him, went over to the walls, started a family like he instructed him to, so apparently he did remember that. Had Eren, the child, the Colossal Titan kicked on the door and came in, and Eren gave the son the Titan injection, and turned him into a Titan. Then he ate his father, and then joined the Survey Corps, and then the series as we know it, took its path. So, yeah, we've kind of made most of those connections now. I kind of would like to have seen his actual journey to the walls, but I guess we don't really need to. But I kind of would have liked to have seen that. See him just like beat up some random pure Titans and stuff on the way over there. I think that'd be pretty cool, personally, but I guess it's not really important to the overall plot. Just something I would like to see. But, yeah. And Mikasa, like, is something wrong with her? Or is it just a lot to take in, everything that's happened recently? But she did not seem all that well when she came out of the cell. Like, they talked about it, how they got plenty to eat, and yet she seemed like it's not the case at all. So, did something happen that I don't remember or didn't realize during that event? Because she definitely doesn't seem great. Like, Eren asked her, hey, did you lose some weights, And she just kind of deflected and asked, oh, well, I guess you're fine, Eren. But something's definitely not fine with her. I don't know if it's something mental or physical or both, but it does not seem like everything's fine there, Mikasa. If something's up, just talk about it, please. I don't want to lose you or anything, so if something's bothering you, just please tell somebody, anybody. One thing I'm a little bit confused about, I mean, it had nothing really to do with this episode, but I want to bring it up, is the whole the Ackerman thing, because I know they talked about before about how they were discriminated against or something. I don't remember the details of that. I wish I could, because maybe I could make some connections from that to our new facts. But how does that tie into things, the Ackerman bloodline? Because obviously the subject of the Ymir, that's its own thing, different than like the Marlins. I'm blanking on their name, whatever the other people were called. I know they're in different bloodlines, but how does the Ackerman being different than them fit into that? Like, obviously, most of the people in the show in the city are like, they look like they're of like German descent or whatever, whereas Mikasa very much Oriental Asian appearance. So does that mean they're not like properly of the, you know, of the, are they not actually subject of Ymir? Is like Mikasa physically impossible to become a Titan herself? Is that the connection? I don't think I can really think of, but I don't know. I don't think we've seen anyone in the show that looked like Mikasa, like even in the other city of anyone. So I don't know. I don't know. I just something I'm just kind of thinking about as well. Maybe I'll go back to that point in the series and refresh myself on exactly what they said about the Ackermans. Because all I remember is that they were obviously very strong warriors and all that, and fought for the royal family. And I think they said they were immune to the memory altering. I think that may have been a thing as well, which would make sense if they weren't actually subject of Ymir. They of course wouldn't be affected by that. But that wouldn't explain the super strength that they weirdly have. You know, like in the flashback when Mikasa stabbed somebody, broke the floor, broke the knife, and all that, and that lightning effect. Like I don't know. I'm just kind of curious about the Ackerman bloodline. And if there's anything more we could learn about that, it would be nice to do so. Kind of all I'm saying there. I mean, I like Mikasa. She's one of my favorite characters, so I want to know more about her in general. But, you know. For real this time, I think that's everything I wanted to say. Aside from, like, the beautiful sky, which a couple times I just kind of noticed that. So, yeah, I think next episode might be the last episode. I think it actually is. I'm not positive on that, but yeah, it's only 10 episodes total. This was episode, well, I listed as episode 21, but I think it was episode 9, like, if you're going by the MyAnimeLIst ordering, which would make the next episode the final episode. If that's the case, then I hope it's a good one. Thank you for watching, and a special thanks to Cnouki for supporting the channel. If you enjoyed this video, I hope you consider clicking the like button and leaving a comment, because that's a great and easy way to let me know that people want more. If you want to do something big to help the channel, you can support me on Patreon and get nice benefits like early access to certain videos. See you next time.